For years, the Brooks Ghost shoes were all I wore while running. And then a couple years ago, I picked up the Brooks Cascadia for my trail running, particularly the Trail Ragnar. Did it again this year as well, and I was wearing the Brooks Cascadia shoes. Earlier this year, I tested a pair of shoes from Vimazi, the Vimazi Z3. They were a running pace-based shoe, and I used them for road racing and road running. So a bit after this year's Trail Ragnar race, Vimazi released a new shoe that would have been perfect for running on Mount Rainier, but at least I've had them for the past month. Hello everybody, this is Matthew Miller, otherwise known as Palm Solo. And as I just mentioned, for the past month or so, I've been running with these new Vimazi Trail Z3 paste-based trail running shoes. So the Trail Z3, they also have the Trail Z2 in both men's and women's sizes and colors. And this is the fire color, the one for the men. It's in the Z3. There's also the Z2, as I mentioned. The Z2 is designed for 8 to 12 minutes per mile on trail running, and the Z3 more for the 10 to 15 minute per mile pace. Now, generally, when you take your road running pace and then apply it to trail running, you generally can add somewhere on the order of 4 to 6 minutes to your road pace. So that's why I went with the Z3. I'm not a very fast runner. I would say 8 to 8:30 typically for road running, maybe a little bit slower sometimes. And then for trails, of course, when you're going up and down hills and round roots and stumps and trees and things like that, it's a little bit slower. I've been running with these for about a month or so. I haven't taken them on Mount Rainier, but I have taken them on some local trails. I'll mention a few things about the shoe, right? So what really stands out to me for the shoe is this very aggressive tread on the bottom. There's some pretty big gaps. The tread's a bit deep. It's going to pick up and help you maintain pretty good traction through many things. And one thing I mentioned as I'm running around is I live in Washington State. I live on the top of a hill, so everywhere I run on hills. And while these are trail running shoes and they're great for the trails and I've taken them on the trails, they're also very good for wet conditions where there could be some water on the roadway, where this big aggressive grooves and tread will help the water flow away from the shoe and prevent me from slipping. I've not slipped since I've worn these shoes. It has a pretty substantial, hard, I don't know the exact material, but it's a hard, very hard, rigid kind of plastic-like material on the back for the rear stabilizer to stabilize your heel. And then it has some Z foam here in the heel as well. One thing I really love about these shoes, same with the Vimazi Z3s that I run with on the road, is I love the heel design, right? This is kind of a neoprene, a stiff neoprene type material that comes up around your heel, and it really hugs your heel and keeps it solid and in place while being extremely comfortable, easy to put on. And I also enjoy a few things, the tongue and the laces. No matter how tight I pull the laces, and I like to pull them a bit tight on trail running so they don't slide around. No matter how tight I seem to pull and tie the laces, I don't have any soreness in the top of my foot like I do experience with some other shoes where it seems to pinch my foot in certain areas, but I never have had that with these shoes. I also, in the forefoot area of the shoe, there's what they call fast pod material, because what they find in the studies, these are pace-based shoes, so what they find is that pushing off when you accelerate, that is a push-off force, and this force pod design in the forefoot is going to help with those forces and distribute those and get you a little bit more speed out of that. The reason I went to Brooks, and I could never run in Nikes because back when I was a kid, they always seemed to be a bit narrower, so I always went with a wider type of shoe. And the Brooks Ghost has a wide shoe, so I went with those. The Vimazi has a wide toe box. I feel no pinching at all in the forward part of my foot, and it's great. They're also quite light. Despite the look is very substantial looking, they're only 265 grams, 8.8, a little under 9 ounces of weight. I love the way that the material helps keep out the rain, but it still allows it to breathe as well. It does have a 31 millimeter stack and a drop of 5 millimeters. So these shoes are pretty powerful shoes. They're priced at only $170, which is actually $5 less than the standard running shoes on the Vimazi Z series of running shoes. So I continue to run with these shoes. I've put only probably, I don't know how many miles, 50 miles or so far on these shoes. I'm going to put more and more, especially over the winter months when I'm running in the dark and wet conditions. They're very comfortable. If you're looking for a trail shoe, I would seriously consider the Z2 or the Z3. This is the Z3 in fire. And I want to thank Vimazi for sending me these to test out. And I look forward to putting many more miles on these shoes, and look forward to any comments and questions you might have as I continue to use them. Thanks everybody for watching, and may the mobile force be with you.